All right. So, Peter,
Yes.
on a recent episode of Network's Stars and Champions, our man Shawn Porter, who we've been talking about a lot more lately, he was asked about a couple of potential rematches from his career. So he was asked about Danny Garcia. He was asked about Yordenis Ugas.
Okay.
And Shawn, Shawn's an absolute warrior. He is an absolute warrior.
Yep.
He's a fantastic athlete. He was like an all-state running back in Ohio. Just a fantastic athlete. But he was, when asked about fighting Danny Garcia again, he said maybe. And so if you saw that fight with Danny Garcia, it was a pretty close fight, but I felt Shawn won. I felt he outworked Danny, which is kind of Shawn's.
It's a good decision.
Yeah, it's kind of Shawn's MO. That's how he wins.
Wasn't it a majority decision?
I believe it was a majority decision. Yes.
It was close, but he earned it.
He earned it, right? And then, but he was asked about fighting Yordenis Ugas. And his answer was quickly, no. He said, been there, done that.
Right.
So, which is a very odd answer because you could say the same thing about Danny Garcia. You've been there, done that as well. So why is that maybe? And why is Yordenis Ugas absolute flat no? Well, I
mean, I have a perspective on that.
I would love to hear it.
So the Danny Garcia fight was a good fight.
Yes, it was.
So I'll agree with you. Shawn Porter, absolute warrior. 2-division champion. I mean, he really earned or gained my respect earned, whatever you want to say.
Right.
In the Spence fight.
It was a unanimous decision, actually.
Oh, okay.
Over Danny.
Must have been a close one.
I'm sure it was.
But in the Spence fight, I mean, absolutely, he fought a great fight. Definitely competitive. Showed a lot of holes in Spence's game, in my opinion. And he employed a game plan.
It really wasn't as close as I thought, though. He Don Ackerman had it 116-112 for Porter, but then Julie Letterman and Eric Marlinsky had it 115-113.
All right, well, that's 7-5, 7 rounds to 5.
Well, that one is, but
right, but that's well. There's always that one outlier.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, the Garcia fight, Shawn probably felt that it was close. It was competitive, but he won that fight. Now, when he said been there, done that regarding Ugas, sometimes, and we've seen where stylistically, some guys just have trouble with some type of guys.
Yes.
Now, Shawn won that fight. We can argue that it was a disputed decision.
Very disputed.
In fact, they didn't even give Shawn time to talk afterwards. They cut right out of there. Shawn wins. Good night. See you later.
We gotta go.
We gotta go. Right. The overall public sentiment on social media was that Ugas won that fight.
Yes. And Zachary Young scored that fight for Ugas 117-111.
Right. Look, Shawn's also smart. That style probably was complicated. Now, regardless of what we think or the fans think, the 3 judges, whatever. So that was a majority decision, right?
Yes. Split decision.
Oh, look, it was a close fight. It was a split decision. Yeah. He snuck away with one, but I don't blame him for saying he doesn't want to run that one back.
Yeah. I mean, I understand it too, because if you talk about risk reward, it just totally doesn't match because Ugas is not a draw, but he's a tough Cuban fighter who arguably beat you the last time.
Who was it? And I get confused here. Vernon Forrest. Was it Vernon Forrest and I'm trying to think, or was it Shane Mosley? And who was it that Shane fought that was just complicated for him?
Shane couldn't do anything at all with Vernon Forrest.
That's okay. So that's right? For 2 fights.
Yep.
It's just sometimes it's just the style and the
that's your guy. That's your guy. You can't beat him.
It's just a style thing.
Yeah.
We've all heard styles make fights, and most fans, they say these things, they don't understand it. Oh, what do you think? Well, styles make fights. Well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Well,
Same thing.
styles make fights, but what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What it means is that some matchups stylistically, because of the opposing styles of the fighters, as you know, Brian, make it more difficult for some fighters to simply just be able to overcome.
Yeah.
And it's complicated.
Yeah. Like Marlon Starling was that for Mark Breland.
Right.
He just stylistically, Marlon Starling was a nightmare for Mark Breland. Just a nightmare. So, and you know, it can just be that way.
Yeah. So I understand Sean's point.
Ken Norton was a nightmare matchup for Muhammad Ali.
Anything we thought about Shawn in the Ugas fight was erased in the Spence fight. Because that was one of those times where you also hear in boxing, yeah, he lost, but he looked really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
His stock rose.
You know,
why take a step back?
Remember, I think
you don't ever avenge a win in boxing.
No, you can only go down from there for the most part, unless you Tyson Fury and you knock the guy out. Well, he didn't win.
But you know what I'm saying? You don't go back to avenge wins.
No. You know, I think that Shawn may have had, I do definitely believe styles were an issue with Ugas, but it could have also been motivation, because Ugas was clearly a step down from a level of prominence.
Was that the haircut fight?
For Shawn?
Yeah.
Shawn had braids.
And the weight issue, cutting the hair was that the issue where he lifts weight?
I believe it was.
So there just might have been problems too going into that fight for him.
This could have been problems, period. But stylistically, I do think that there was some stuff happening.
You're like, Shawn had braids. I'm like, I know he had braids.
Well, no, but you know, early he had the teeny weeny afro, like you know,
right, of course.
Yeah,
but yeah, they cut his hair and he made weight.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? But
hey, do what you got to do.
Never miss.
Hey, that's a great passive weight cut.
That's why I never miss weight.
Shave those eyebrows.
Yeah, well, you know, it can be tough.
So what do you think?
Right. I don't know, man. I think that, like I said, it's a risk reward thing, and I just don't think that Ugas has the type of name or will command the type of payday that Porter is looking for at this stage of his career to substantiate that kind of risk. Because Porter goes out and fights Ugas and doesn't get the decision this time, he's popped. Because the rest of the welterweight division, even that little PBC clique, is going to go and move about and move on kind of without him. And Shawn's at a place in his career where he really shouldn't be fighting for anything outside of a championship unless he's fighting a name of the level of, like, say, for instance, Manny wasn't the champion.
I was just going to say, though, Pacquiao Porter would be a great fight.
Yeah, and say Manny, you know, wasn't a champion at all or whatever.
Right.
That would be a fight that would be worth it for him for it, even if it wasn't a championship fight. But you know, besides that, but yeah, Pacquiao is not going to fight. I don't think Pacquiao is going to fight Shawn Porter.
It'd be a great fight.
I think it would be a great fight, but stylistically, that's a really tough fight for Manny because of how ugly and nasty Shawn Porter makes fights. So I think that's a tough fight. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that I just thought that was pretty interesting of Shawn.
I like everything Shawn's saying these days.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. He said, "Nope, been there, done that." Well, you've been there, done Danny Garcia too. So, but what's righty, sir?
Shawn's a smart guy.
He's saying a lot. He is saying a lot.